online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to be talking about grade 5 theory, ABRSM grade 5 theory, and in particular the major and minor scales section in that syllabus in the book that you've got there. So I've done some little sheets for you. This is a very difficult one to explain. I've thought a lot about this when I was going through it, but hopefully I've been able to cover enough for you and help you all out with it. I'm sort of basing these videos with the assumption that you guys know something about grade 5 theory. I think it would be very difficult for you to learn solely just on these videos. It really would help if you had someone to help you at least, or to get you started. But you know, maybe you are trying to teach yourself and you've sort of got the hang of it, but these videos can help you with my sheets. These are free to download and print, by the way, as I've done these for you guys. Or perhaps maybe you're having group lessons and you know, the teacher has explained something you've not quite understood and you don't really have chance in class to ask any questions. So again, these videos might reiterate or go over the information in a different way, which can help. So, major and minor scales. Okay, so in grade 5 theory, you're going to have to write out some major and some minor scales. The minor scales include harmonic and melodic scales. Sometimes you might have to write the actual notes in on the test yourself. Sometimes the notes will be written in and you'll just have to write in the sharps and flats. Sometimes you'll have to write in the key signature, but whatever which way, the outcome of the process is still pretty much the same. So, major scales are just major scales. But with the minor scales, in the harmonic scales, you raise the 7th note when you're ascending and you're descending, going up and going down. In the melodic scales, if you've played some of them on your instrument, you'll know that you raise the 6th and 7th note ascending and you lower the 6th and 7th note when you're descending or going down. So I've, on the left here, I've done little kind of step-by-step processes of working out each scale depending on what you're asked to do. So if you're asked to write in a major scale, step 1, write out the notes of the scale if asked to. So if you do need to do that, then do that. If that's already done, you've just got to write out the sharps and flats, then obviously you don't have to do that, but I don't know what you're going to get on the test. Step 2, work out the key signature. So if it says write a scale in, I don't know, D major, work out the key signature of D major, 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Write in those sharps or flats, so if it was F sharp and C sharp, write in F sharp, write a sharp next to the F and write a sharp next to the C, and that's it, and that's your major scale. And that's going up and going down, so they're fairly simple. The complication comes when you're talking about harmonic and melodic scales. So if you're being asked to write out a harmonic scale, write out the notes of the scale if asked to, depending on the test. Then work out the key signature of said scale, write in the sharps or the flats, depending on obviously what you've got, what key you're in, put in those sharps and flats next to the notes. Then step 4, locate and raise the 7th note. So even though you might have put a sharp or a flat on that 7th note, it's good to put that on there, don't leave it blank or you'll make mistakes. But rub it out and then raise it. So if your note was a D sharp, the 7th note was a D sharp, and you know you've got to raise it, rub out the sharp you've just put in front of it and exchange it for an X, which would give you a double sharp. So if you have a look at this little helpful chart up here as well, starting with kind of a natural sign in the middle, you're raising it, you're going this way. And if you're lowering it, you're going that way. So if you started at a double flat and you wanted to raise it, it would end up at a flat, raise it again natural, raise it again sharp, raise it again double sharp. If you started at a sharp and you wanted to lower it, then natural, flat and flat. So raisings to the right, lowerings to the left, raising right, lowering left. It's pretty easy to sort of remember. So that's your harmonic. One tip to remember as well, beware when locating 6th and 7th notes in descending scales, as they are at the start because the scale is descending. So if you look at a scale going upwards, then your 6th and 7th note are going to be near the end, aren't they? But if the scale's going down, they're going to be the 2nd and 3rd, technically the 2nd and 3rd note in. So just be aware about that. Don't, otherwise you'll make horrible mistakes if you're not aware of that. Now, a melodic ascending, write out the notes of the scale if you're asked to, like in the other ones. Work out that key signature, nice and easy, like the other ones. Write in the sharps and flats. Yeah, okay, no problem. Then locate and raise the 6th and the 7th note. So again, if your 6th note is a C sharp and your 7th note is a D sharp, and you've put in C sharp and D sharp as you were told to do in step 3, then you can raise them. So just rub each one out and raise it. So the C sharp, rub out the sharp in front of the C and make it a double sharp, and rub out the D, rub out the sharp next to the D and make that a double sharp as well. If you just leave the 6th and 7th and think, oh, I'll just do that in a minute, you'll go back to it and you'll see it as a C natural technically, and you'll see it as a D natural, and then you'll go to raise it and you'll raise it to a C sharp and a D sharp. But that's what you should have done already in step 3. So can you see why it's important that you actually just do each step? Just, you know, don't worry about anything because you're going to sort it out in a minute. Rub it out and replace it and raise it then, and it's much easier and you make less mistakes as well. So a melodic descending, this is always the most trickiest one that people don't seem to understand. So melodic descending, write out the notes of the scale if asked to, okay, write out, work out the key signature, good, so write out any sharps and flats, you know, if there's 5 sharps then it'll be Fred, Charles, goes, down, Anne's, F sharp, C sharp, G, whatever. Write in the sharps or the flats, depending, and that's it, you are done. Do not play about with it, that's it, it's done. So that's literally the step by step for these and for the melodic descending. Now, the reason why you don't have to lower anything is because you do not need to lower the 6th and 7th notes in a descending melodic scale, as you will then be lowering them even further. So if you think about the example I used just a second ago, that if you've got C sharp and D sharp as your 6th and 7th notes, say like we did in this example, and on the we're going up now, and you've got to raise them to from a C sharp to a C double sharp and a D sharp to a D double sharp. On the way back down, you're lowering them from those 2 double sharped notes. So then you'd lower it back down to D sharp and back down to C sharp. But since D sharp and C sharp were already in the key signature originally, which was before you rubbed anything out, that's why you don't have to then lower anything further to a C natural and a D natural. So it's very difficult to get your head around that, but once you understand that, then the penny sort of drops. So this is a sort of a melodic ascending scale. So can you see I've kind of drawn 2 little boxes kind of raised up because we've actually had to raise them. If that was just one long line, then that would just be the scale, but we've actually raised them. So we've raised it from, say, D sharp, a C sharp and a D sharp to a C double sharp and a D double sharp. But on the way back down, we're lowering them to what they originally were, which was C sharp and D sharp in this example. If we lower them down even more than that, then we're going to be taking it much further down. So this would actually be the opposite to that, and it would be down there. So we're lowering them down. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit with the major and minor scales. It is a bit of a tricky one to do, as with intervals, and it is really hard to explain to you guys over video. But again, these videos really are for people that have at least some prior knowledge to major and minor scales, and you know, maybe you just want a second opinion, as I keep saying, or you know, just to reiterate the subject, and maybe the penny will drop a little bit further. So please check out my other videos. I'm doing all the grade 5 parts of the syllabus separately because it's too long to fit in one video. Otherwise this video will just go on for hours and hours and days and be really boring. So I've separated them out, so don't forget to check them. That way you don't have to sit there and watch through a whole video. You can just pick and choose the videos depending on the parts of the syllabus that you're stuck with. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to me and check out my other videos.